Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So glad each and every one of you can make it. So you've went to the flea markets, you've looked at yard sales, you scoured the internet, and you finally found the car you want. But then you get it and the wheel won't roll. What do? Here's an easy way to try to figure it out. So you finally found the car that you wanted, you scoured the internets and everything, and you got it home and it just won't roll. When it does, it won't roll straight or something along those lines. Typically the axle's stuck, and the way to tell is you sit here and you take the tire on the other side, right? You can see it moving. Take the tire on the other side and you spin it and see if it turns the other wheel with it. Now this one was like that when I got it. Front and rear wheels were stuck together. So in other words, when I turn one, the other one would turn. Same with the back. So here's how I fixed mine, and it may save you a little bit of time. Now the first thing you can do is hold one wheel, take the other one and rotate it. Eventually, you could try doing it back and forth if you want, but eventually one will give and the other one won't. Like I said, mine was like this when I first got it. But now they spin freely, or semi-freely. But if you look down in here, there's the axle. You can see it's all corroded and everything. Got dirt on it. This one is easy to get to. The newer models not so much. If you look down in there, you can see the axles. And we'll get back to that in just a minute. First thing you want to do, like I said, is hold one, hold the other one, and rotate them back and forth. Okay? When you get one to where it'll spin freely, do the back ones the same way. Rotate them back and forth to where they get free of each other. But still, you're typically going to have one. 9 times out of 10, that'll free it up, and it'll want to roll straight after that. But typically, and you know, kids play with these. There's some adults that race them on YouTube and everything, jumping over fish tanks, and when they don't clear it or something happens, it goes in the water, and then they end up selling them and trading them, and the wheels are rusted shut. Well, kids play with them also. Like I said, lint gets built up, whatever. They get stuck over time, okay? And once you break the one loose, you can't hold the other side and then try to break the other one loose because it's broke loose. It spins freely. So what I recommend doing is taking a 3-in-1 oil, hobby oil, WD-40, whatever. Go in and just have your rag handy and just lightly put a drop of oil in there, okay? And then wipe off the excess, because you don't want this getting on your paint. You don't want it getting on your stickers, because it could cause some damage, okay? I do that to however many you got stuck. If all 4 of them are stuck, do the same thing. As you saw, a quick little spray, and it'll leave some on the tip. And then just go in with the tip and put the oil where you want it. If you need to, lightly spray you some in there, okay? And again, wipe off all the excess so nothing gets on anything. After you do that, here's the next step. I like to do all 4 of mine with the oil, with the WD-40 and stuff. And I'm sorry I keep holding the car down here. Well, hopefully you can see it. I think you can. But anyhow, I try to do all 4 of them because it was stuck. I mean, there's still dirt and trash and rust and stuff in there. And then I just work them back and forth, back and forth. I'll sit here and watch a little video clip or my favorite YouTuber on the computer while I'm sitting here rubbing it. And I'll just spin them back and forth, rotate them, spin them back and forth until they get pretty free, okay? At that time, if they're all spinning freely, I'll make sure there's no WD-40 or oil, whatever I used on anything. I'll go back, another drop. Wipe off the excess again, right? Wipe off the excess. Rotate them a little bit, and then take it and let it sit for a while. A couple days. Come back, do it again, until it starts rolling the way you think it ought to roll. Now if it doesn't, if the one side is still stuck, there's one way that you can, well, there's 2 ways. that you can fix that. Let's discuss it. Now, one way involves removing the wheels altogether, or getting to the axle better. So you have to drill out the post, right? And then you have to drill it and tap it, or glue it, or put in a new rivet. However you want to fix it is your choice. But it requires doing that, and then that gives you access to the axles on the back side where you can hold it with a needle nose or whatever you need to do to break it loose. You can even try putting a drop of oil in these holes, right? You can even put oil in there and let it sit on the side overnight, then flip it over the next day and then do the same way. Here's a way around all that. Take you something small, a small flathead screwdriver, right? Because again, there's the axle. Or one of the tools that you can get from Bright Vision or the Redline shop. Get you one of the tools, and sometimes you go in this way, but since the axle's stuck to the wheel, because it's got a little cutout that's made for the axles, you can go in there and hook the axle and try to do it. But typically, if it's locked on that tight to where doing this will not break it loose, that won't work. So what you need to do is take the screwdriver or this tool and go in that little notch and then give it a twist to where it makes contact. That will lock the axle. And then what I do is I take it. It's kind of hard to do one-handed and let you see it. I'll twist it and put pressure on it while I spin that tire. And over time, you working that back and forth and holding the axle tight, it will break loose. I mean, it will. These were locked up tight, all four of them. And the seller, when I bought it, I actually bought two. I bought one that was in good shape, but it was an auction. They had both of these in the auction, what I'm trying to say. One is in really good shape and one needs a resto. And I'm wanting to learn how to do restos, so I was able to get two for the price of one, and that worked out great for me. But the seller didn't tell me that they were locked tight, which is no big deal because I'm planning on taking it apart. And see, that one don't want to really spin that free, so I need to work on it some more. See? It spins, but not real free. So I need to work on it a little bit more. But anyhow, by doing it that way, having it oiled and the oil setting in and locking the axle to where it won't move and working that back and forth, 9.5 times out of 10 we will break it loose. I promise you. But if it doesn't, then you're going to have to take it apart or just let it sit the way it is. But then your car will roll. I still got to do some tuning on it, but I'm going to be restoring this like I said, so it gets that bounce out of it. I'm going to put new tires and wheels on it, so all that'll be gone. I'll get it straightened out. But I just wanted to put that out there just to go over it again. Try working them back and forth individually. Take some oil, spray on the back sides, work them, make sure you wipe off the excess. And then if that doesn't work, or you want to go even a step further, come and put a drop of oil in those holes, let it sit on the side overnight, right? Pick something to prop it up. Let it sit on the side overnight, come back next day, use a tool, lock the axles, and then work it back and forth. And it will break loose, I promise you, it'll break loose. If it doesn't, then you're going to have to take it apart anyway, or leave it as is. But I hope this might help you. You don't have to use WD-40, any oil you have on hand. And just work on those tires and wheels and they'll break loose. No need in getting upset, no need in throwing it away. No need in not buying one because you saw it in a box at a yard sale and the tires are stuck. You can fix it, I promise. So until next time, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.